This is the 85mm f1.4 G Master 2 lens, and in this video for Alpha Universe, I'll share my hands-on experience with what might become my favorite new lens for portrait photography. Let's get right into it and talk about what's new. The 85mm f1.4 GM2 is the 76th Sony E-mount lens and has several updates compared to the original version that came out back in 2016. It weighs in at 642 grams, which is about 178 grams less than the original 85GM. It's noticeable when you're handling the lens, especially during those long photo shoots. Looking at the original and the second version of this lens, you'll notice that the 85GM2 is also a bit slimmer, shaving off around 4.8 millimeters in width and about 0.17 millimeters in height. Before we get into the optics, let's take a look at the rest of the features on the outside of the lens. First, you'll find a dedicated aperture ring that can be declicked, as well as the focus mode switch. The new 85GM2 now has two focus hold buttons that can be customized in the camera menu, so now you can easily access that feature regardless of whether you're shooting in landscape or portrait mode. There's also an iris lock switch to keep the aperture ring from moving unintentionally. It's also dust and moisture resistant, with the buttons and switches having silicone rubber gaskets, a rubber ring seal on the lens mount, as well as all the other seams of the lens being sealed. Inside is where we find a lot of the differences. The 85GM2 has 14 elements in 11 groups, along with an 11-blade circular aperture, which helps to give you that beautiful bokeh that G Master lenses are known for. It also has two extreme spherical elements to help minimize aberrations, as well as two extra low dispersion glass elements that help suppress chromatic aberration. In order to keep flare and ghosting under control, the lens features nano AR2 coating. I have some examples that I'll show you shortly of some backlit portraits that I took where you could see how well this lens performs in some challenging situations. The focusing system has some upgrades as well to keep up with some of the newer, faster camera bodies like the Alpha 9 III. The 85GM2 has two extreme dynamic linear motors, which give you smooth and silent focusing if you plan on using it for video. These motors also help the lens to achieve 3 times faster autofocusing speeds, and moving subject tracking is improved by as much as 7 times compared to the original 85GM. If you have any of the newer Sony Alpha bodies, you're going to enjoy these major benefits with this lens. I had the opportunity to use the lens for several photo shoots over the course of the last month, and I have a few thoughts and images that I want to share with you. First, this is easily my most used focal length for portrait photography of all time. It does an amazing job of giving you great compression for portrait work, and when you're shooting wide open at f1.4, the backgrounds end up looking magical. I also appreciated the image quality of this lens, especially when you're shooting with it wide open. I know that the quality of bokeh is very important for some photographers, but equally as important for me is the ability to get whatever it is that I'm photographing to appear sharp and detailed. The 85GM2 is easily the best 85mm lens I have ever used, full stop. Now let's take a look at a few images that I took in the studio and outdoors. We'll start off with one of the images that I took of Thurl during golden hour. This kind of lighting is beautiful, but when you're shooting backlit, some lenses suffer from flaring, ghosting, and purple fringing. I've had some of my images wrecked in the past using off-brand lenses, so I wanted to test this out and see how this lens performed in that situation. As you can see, the background defocus looks beautiful, my subject is sharp, and none of the images that I shot in this situation had any of the nasty things that can wreck a portrait. Here are some of the rest of my shots, including some studio images with the settings for you to check out. Pricing on this lens is $17.99 here in the US and $24.99 in Canada. If you want to learn more about this lens, be sure to check out the link in the description and subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on everything happening in the Alpha universe. Be sure to check out the video that you see here on the screen, and I'll see you next time.